I've been wanting to make this video for a little while, but I just finally had the opportunity to make it. Basically, as I've been growing now and buying more companies, starting new businesses, and just building things on the side in general, a lot of people have been reaching out to me and just asking the same question, which is, how do I quit a job that I'm no longer passionate about? And I feel like a lot of people are on that route or stuck in that same thing where they just want to go and find something that they're completely passionate about and want to make money off that. And it's more so the fact that they feel stuck in this position because they didn't imagine that life for themselves in the first place. And they're just unsure of what move to make next because this is the situation that they're in. Now, a little background on myself, I basically went to college for 4 years. Was the right decision? I mean, I entered college at 17 years old and I basically got 2 degrees. My first degree was the one I really did not like, and it was in sports medicine, which is basically like exercise science or basically anything to do with those exercise sciences. Now, what I did was I put in all those hours, I put in all that money, the effort, and at the end of it, I just wasn't passionate about it anymore. And it's not the fact that I just don't like the whole thing with exercising and all that, because I still love it till this day. It's more so that like it just wasn't a thing for me anymore to do as a job. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I've always wanted to start businesses. I've started businesses since I was 14 years old. I started a bath bomb company. I've started e-commerce. I've done everything that you can ever think about. And even with that, I still went to school for the sports medicine. First of all, for the parents, they want to see a degree. And second of all, I truly enjoyed sports. I love sports. I've always wanted to do something in that field. So I was like, oh, why don't I just go for this degree? Just do that and finish it, just end it all with that, and then just work in that field. But fast forward, when that thing is still a passion of mine, which is still the fitness part, and the sports medicine part still does interest me, but my whole career didn't end up how I thought it would be, like not even close. And my original vision of all that was to train athletes, or work with a sports team or any of that stuff. And that just didn't work out either, because it's a small percentage of people that even go to that extent. And I feel like a lot of us do have that dream or imagination of, I'm going to do kind of what I want to in my field. And 90% of the time it doesn't end up happening because all these other barriers and things come into play. So instead of me doing the thing that I wanted to do, I ended up doing rehab for older people. And honestly, I genuinely despised it with passion. I literally just overthought all of my processes and everything that I've done until that point. And at that time, you put all this work and effort into getting that degree and just doing all those hours and whatever. And once you get to that point, you're like, I just can't waste this. I've worked all this time. I've done all these things to get to this point. I don't like this, but I'm going to try to do something else. And that's what I did. And I changed my role instead of just helping old people, I was like, you know what? Let me just be a personal trainer at this point. I did that. And at first you think of it and you're like, I enjoy this now. This is something that I kind of wanted to do, because you were trying to get paid for, your dream job. But over time, even that thing became repetitive. There's the same workouts, the same routines. It was just an over and over again cycle. And I feel like a lot of people are in that cycle right now. And the hardest part is that you spent all this time, all this effort, not to just throw it away. And a lot of people are literally in this position at this point. And to answer it, passion is what people usually ask me about is what are you passionate about? If you are passionate about this whole fitness thing, why don't you just build a business around it? And the honest answer is that because the idea is, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's what a lot of people say. That's like the statement. But then that thing would be considered completely wrong. Because at the end of the day, every business, especially the one that you own, is mostly made up of the things that you don't love. And a lot of people don't understand that point. It's like, yeah, you're going to quit this job that you don't like. For example, like let's say you don't like doing this one thing and you quit the job and you go for something that you're passionate about. At the end of the day, that thing that you're passionate about, you're going to do 20 times the work of this thing that you didn't like, but you're going to do 20 times the thing that you don't like at this point more, if that kind of makes sense. So for me, I have 3 businesses, okay? They make multiple 6 figures a year, not even a year, sorry, they make multiple 6 figures a month. And I've created that and I love it to death. But do I like doing everything that comes with that? Which is basically like operations, the repetitions, the problem solving, the stress. There's a lot of things that go along with that where a lot of people don't see that side because they're too busy being like, oh, well, this person's doing something that they're passionate about and they look like they're having a great time. They probably are having a great time, but they're times 50 what you're used to. We're dealing with all these other things that we have to deal with that we didn't sign up for, but we have to take it regardless because of what we're in at this point. So this passion thing that you're talking about, that you want to change, you just got to know that the passion that you're going to strive for is always going to have problems in it, regardless of whatever you're doing, unless the thing that you're passionate about is a hobby. And when I say that it's a hobby, it's basically like, let's say you're passionate about dancing and you like to dance and you want to open up your own studio. Now, if you're passionate about it and you want to do it as a hobby, that's fine, because you can basically go in whenever, you can close whenever, you don't have to worry about certain things, you don't have to worry about customers, you don't have to worry about any of that. You just go in, you do your stuff, and then you leave. At the end of the day, you don't have to stress about it. Like if you have to pay the rent for the place, you don't have to stress that you don't have to pay the employees. There's a bunch of things that go along with it. So if you truly want to do something that you're passionate about, it should be as a hobby or as something where you can turn it off whenever and turn it back on whenever. If that's not the case, then even if you're passionate about that thing and you love it, eventually you're going to have to scale that thing. And that's how it works in the real world. If you're passionate about dancing, for example, and you're really good at it, and you open up a studio, eventually clients are going to walk in, and eventually people are going to start buying your stuff, and you're going to have to set a time to when people can come and when people can't, and you're going to have to systemize and manage problems, and all that stuff starts adding on to it. So even though you are passionate about this thing right here, there's a long road where the passion starts to deteriorate slowly, although you still are passionate about this thing. So that's why, in my eyes at least, it's completely okay to make money doing one thing and then be passionate about something else. And that's where I still do love fitness. Like I still go to the gym every day. I still work out. I still train friends for free because it's like my personal passion, but it's not my income source. And I don't have to sit there and worry about, okay, who am I going to train tomorrow? What kind of plan am I going to make for them? What kind of system am I going to run? What kind of diet do they have to be on? That's why it's still a passion of mine. And I think the reality of the business itself is that what most people don't talk about is business sucks. It truly does. I have to deal with over 100 things a day. Just small things, but they eventually stack up. Like you have to deal with employees, clients, inventory, sales reps. It just goes on and on. There's a bunch of things they have to deal with. And even though when it starts off as something that you do love, a business is essentially a funnel of the hardest problems related to something that you care about. And a lot of people don't get that. Is that, yeah, you might love this thing, but once it turns into a business, it's just a huge funnel of problems. And even if you're the owner, you're going to inherit that all. And that's kind of where I'm at least. But I do love it. I love it to a crazy extent. Like, I am obsessed with creating businesses, making systems. I love that stuff. I'm very passionate about it. But there's some things in that whole process where I'm not passionate about it at all. And like, I just have to take it. And I feel like, again, the only way you can truly stay passionate about something forever is that it can't be scaled. It can't be a business. You can only do it when you want to. And I think that's the real way of doing that. But at the same time, that doesn't work if you're going to try to build something that's real. Because what actually matters is not more so the passion, but the way you're going to execute that. So it's just basically coming in, day out, and just solving the problems. Even when it does get boring, because at some points it does get boring. Like, you're doing repetitive things over and over. So even when it gets boring, and even when you get frustrated, and when you have to deal with all this stuff, what actually keeps you going is the interest that gets you started. And the curiosity is what's going to keep you learning everything. And the straight up getting beat down, and the tolerance that you can take is what's going to determine whether you're going to finish it or not. And again, most people quit when they hit that wall of like resistance. And I think that's where a lot of people get that point of where they're like, well, I want to do something I'm passionate about. Let me just tell you, this thing is 20 times harder than what you're thinking at this point. Because most people see this stuff and they're like, oh, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. Okay, good. Try it. Try doing anything. Just start a business. You can start a business today. You can start it in an hour. You can make anything you want. You can start an e-commerce store. You can start a TikTok shop. You can start marketing. You can start anything. But why have you not done that? And okay, maybe you're not passionate about those things that I just listed, but you can start anything you want. I'm just listing some things that can be started instantly. Is it a financial issue? Is it a time issue? Is it whatever? At that point, you're just making excuses for yourself. Because, right? Like, you can start it whenever you wanted to start it, but you're not starting it. And again, that's when most people quit, is that they think to themselves, like, I should be further now. And this person that is just started is doing way better than me. And maybe this isn't for me. And that's when a lot of people just quit. Because they sit there and they tell themselves all these things in their head where I'm not doing as good as the next guy. But everyone, again, has their own paths. So you shouldn't just quit because of that reason. And just quit because something just didn't work out. You're only out of the whole thing is when you quit yourself. Everything else, you can keep on going. You can keep making a million businesses. You can make a million names, LLCs, it doesn't matter. But every path that you're going to take, regardless if you are doing a 9 to 5, starting your own business, something that you're passionate about, whatever you do, every path, every single one, there's going to be repetition. There's going to be boredom. There's going to be frustration. There's going to be rejection. There's going to be so many things that go on with it. So you either quit or you get better at what you're going to do. And that's what a lot of people should be doing, is getting better. Not just quitting where things are not working out. And like for me, at least when I started my first business, we were getting 10 people the entire day. 12 hours straight, 10 people the entire day. And we would get there at 9, we would leave there at 10, We'd come back the next day at 9. We'd have like 4 hours to 5 hours of sleep. And at one point, you would sit there and you're like, I want to quit. Because I don't see anything. I don't see progress. I don't see anything moving. I've tried a lot of things. But at that point, you have to truly sit there and understand that those things that you're building slowly, those 12-hour days, those 4-hour sleeps, you're building a foundation. And I think a lot of people don't see that, is that they're building this foundation and they just quit when the wall's halfway up. But understand that foundation is getting built slowly. Even if you don't see it, over time, it compounds and it eventually becomes a full wall, and then it becomes a roof, and it becomes a door, and then it becomes a full house. But people quit before that happens. And the reality is, that's basically why I'm at where I'm at right now, is because I just didn't quit. I kept on going, even though there was nothing. We were literally losing like money. We weren't making anything, but you just keep on pushing and you keep doing it until you get to that point. And those thoughts in your head of, why is it not me? Why is this not working? It's part of the process. That's how it goes. That's how anything works. But when you do start, and it goes with anything. Even when I started YouTube, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here on the camera and I'm just telling you my experiences. But you will be cringe. I promise you. You will be awkward. As you guys can see, you'll be inexperienced. People will doubt you. I slept in my car. No one knew that. No one knew that. Everyone sees my Porsche and this money and courtside seats and whatever else and traveling, but no one saw me sleeping in my car. No one saw me sit there for hours trying to figure out, why is there only 10 people coming in? No one sees the work that you put in. And it's cringe until it's not. And you have to be okay with that. You're going to have to sit there with yourself and be okay with you not winning at that moment. But you have to believe in yourself so badly that you are going to be one of the best things that has possibly made this product or this service or this retail store or whatever it is. You have to think in your mind that you are the best. Even if that's not true, you just have to be delusional enough to really think that you're the best at it. And eventually it will come. I promise you it will come. And that's basic business, is that you're going to bet on yourself. You're going to fix these problems. You're going to have to build systems. And you're going to have to keep on repeating this thing until it works. And the question that you should stop asking yourself is, what am I passionate about? And really start asking yourself, what am I willing to commit to long enough to become good at? Because passion does fade. But the stuff that you have done before is going to compound. And you're going to have to make a decision about who you're going to become as a person. And you're going to keep on going. Even when it sucks, because it will.